So good afternoon, everyone. My name is Joe Hogan. I am the representative for the 142nd District representing Bucks County. I'm joined with my colleagues, Shelby Labs from Bucks County, Krista Marcel from Bucks County, and Abby Major from Armstrong County out west. We're here today to talk about a resolution that was introduced last year and will soon be introduced again this year, which would mark July 2024 as Disability Pride Awareness Month. And while I can go into detail about it, I think what is better is a constituent of mine, James Henderson, will be able to speak about it. And the important thing is James actually brought this issue to my attention in the first place. And that's something I'd like to talk about very briefly here is James and I met at a public event. He came into my office a short time after that and introduced himself to me and said he wanted to be involved and he wanted me to be aware and involved with some of his issues as well. And after that conversation is where I learned more about the topic, more about some of the issues facing individuals with disability and Pennsylvanians with disability specifically. And I wanted to introduce the resolution to show that I care about this issue, but also I think that it deserves awareness throughout the entire Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. So that's how we got to this point today. And hopefully this resolution, once it's introduced, is passed along bipartisan lines so that Pennsylvania can formally recognize July as Disability Pride Month. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce my constituent, James Henderson. Come on up.
Thank you, State Representative Hogan. My name is James Henderson, 39 years old, born with spina bifida. I'm a certified disability advocate and member of the Human Relations Commission in Middletown Township, located in Bucks County. I want to talk about Disability Pride Month. What is Disability Pride Month? Don't we already have a Pride Month in June? Is it about another group of people waving flags and parading around, proud of being disabled? And speaking of flags, how are they any different from those in June when they too are rainbow colored? Those are the questions I usually get asked from those who are unaware and need to be informed about the significance of Disability Pride Month and the importance of recognizing it every July. Is it enough to answer those questions and have a brief discussion about it? Maybe it brings more understanding, but I don't think that leads into widespread disability awareness. Oftentimes, I think after that brief discussion, it ends there. But that is why I'm always trying to keep the conversation going, and I've done so, even before I was an advocate and HRC member. My parents welcomed me into this world despite the fact that doctors had little to no hope for me. They raised me to be the active, outspoken leader I am today. I became outspoken because they spoke up for me when it seemed like the odds were stacked against me. I became outgoing because they went out of their way to let me be the independent thinker I am today with a no-quit attitude and a positive persona. They taught me to educate others. But how can we go beyond educating others? How can we make what is learned important to remember? Everyone has a story to tell and share the successes they've had that made them a better version of themselves and the struggles that they've had to keep growing and building. Everyone has a story to share and to inspire others. My story began when I was born, how I was raised, and how my parents continue to support me. It continues with how I live as a disabled individual. Sorry. Going to school, I never worried about fitting in, making friends, or adapting to my surroundings. I made friends, did well in my classes, and participated in extracurricular activities such as choir and student government, and spoke at events like at the Mayor's Commission when I earned a scholarship in college, and went on to earn a bachelor's degree in psychology. In school, I never worried about being bullied, and aside from the occasional name calling, fortunately, I was never really bullied because I figured there was no need to fear or worry about it. And education is the one thing that I think that we need for people to be less ignorant. So how can we help disabled students thrive in school every day? Well, I believe to help students thrive in school every day is the teaching of disability history. With a disability-inclusive curriculum, disabled students become more made welcome because able-bodied individuals become more sensitive to those with disabilities. So I feel because disability makes 20% of the population, such a curriculum should be in the picture. Next, what I feel that would make individuals thrive every day is getting the best possible care in the medical field possible. And I know that from in my childhood. When I went to Children's Hospital, I received exceptional care, even though there was and still is much to learn about spina bifida. Because in Children's Hospital, every doctor I needed to see was in one place, aside from a pediatrician. And they even had a spina bifida clinic that could take care of my needs. But then in my childhood, in my adulthood, when I was released from Children's Hospital, I was left scrambling for individual doctors and another spina bifida clinic. Through the long, painstaking process, I did find such doctors in another spina bifida clinic that could take care of my needs. But I never felt that level of care I received in my childhood from Children's Hospital. And people with spina bifida or for any disability should not have to struggle to find appropriate care. They should feel that level of comfort and trust between them and their doctors. Because when you have new doctors, it means your whole life background has to be learned all over again. And for me, that was very frustrating. And because spina bifida was not one of their strong suits, the new doctors meant that they started going by their own decisions, making them not much very first patient-first practitioners. So when you go on to the workplace, individuals can thrive in the workplace when looking for a job, getting hired for the job, and performing the job duties. However, for people with disabilities, this can be troubling, especially those who are underrepresented in the workforce, especially those who have vision, deaf, or loss of hearing, with limited resources for career development. Individuals should feel confident and comfortable in looking for a job, getting hired for the job, and performing the job duties. Though we have such laws, such as the ADA Title I, which states that an employer is prohibited to ask disability-related questions to a candidate with a disability. Employers already have a presumption of the candidate with a disability may make it tougher for them during the hiring process or while they're performing the job duties, and this should not be the case for any individual with a disability. So now that I've talked about educating others and how we can all thrive in today's society, it's time to celebrate. There are many ways we celebrate diversity and raise awareness for those who want to feel included. Well, those with disabilities want to also feel included in today's society. There should be nothing about us without us. This was first invoked by the South African disability rights movement in the early 1990s. And now it's become a global call for individuals with disabilities to have the right to be treated like everyone else. When I'm talking about everyone else, it's those who are non-disabled. And at one point or another, they may think, why is disability pride important when I'm not even disabled? Well, with over 50 million individuals living in the U.S. with a disability, disability surpasses Hispanics, African Americans, and Asian Americans, making disability the largest minority. It can occur at any time, not just at birth, but it could also occur from an injury or as we age, temporarily or permanently. So disability is diversity. In conclusion, I'd like to say that disability can affect anyone, and so therefore it is important for us all to be in this together. Teaching and advocating is an ongoing process, and if we move forward, then inclusivity in all aspects of life can progress. Thank you.
Thank you, James. Thanks for advocating for all 50 million Americans and also your fellow Pennsylvanians as well. So appreciate you coming out to the Capitol and doing this. I'd also like to recognize Representative Ann Flood, who has the resolution in the House of Representatives as well. She has also joined us today. But I want to thank everybody for participating in this, and please reach out if you have any questions about this resolution or this issue. We are happy to work with you. So thank you all again. Thanks.